Why, hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? It's me again. And again today, I'm here to give you another update. And yes, yet again today, my phone still has not gone one ringy-dingy. Yet. But it is going to. It is going to. Because accountability is here. Now, you all can choose to keep overlooking these things. You all can keep choosing to pick the battles. Me, I'm going to remove the threat. And the threat are these these fakes and frauds, these counterfeits. The problem are not the little underlings that you all are fighting against. That you all are saying, oh, you can't say that. You can't say it. Yes, you can. You're a free will creature. You are a free will creature. No one is forcing you not to say anything that you do not want to say, not to think something that you do not want to think, not to do something that you do not want to do. The law is in place to ensure not that somebody else does something or does not do something. The law is in place to ensure that when the law is violated, when someone does something in violation of the agreed upon law that applies to everyone, everyone who has taken an oath, as well as to you, me, we, the people, that the law is enforced. It is the penalty, it is the enforcing of the law that discourages people to violate said law. But if you stop, oh, look at that, light bulb's coming on because you know where I'm going. If you stop enforcing the laws, then suddenly the law there is no accountability. Then what do you get? You get exactly what we've got here and now, folks. Is what you get. The solution, I've only been telling you all for months now, the solution to all of our problems, right there, all of your little problems, right there in your little locale, wherever it is that you are, is uphold and enforce the law. And folks, if those people who have a title of law enforcement are refusing to enforce said law, then guess what? You don't have law enforcement. You have a fake, you have frauds, you have counterfeits. They are the problem. Now, what are you going to do about it? Same thing with any elected official. Any elected official that refuses to fulfill their oath, do their job, they're not an official. They are a fake and a fraud and a counterfeit. And they must be removed. And here's the thing that they do not want to let you know. They do not want you to know this. It is a criminal act for them. It's a criminal act for a law enforcement officer. I don't care what level of law enforcement they are, if it's a local county sheriff deputy, an FBI agent, a CIA agent, doesn't matter. If they refuse to enforce the law when they see that the law has been violated, they themselves are violating the law. So says the law. And because a criminal cannot be a law enforcement officer, that means they are not a law enforcement officer. They're just somebody. They are a criminal who is taken and using the title of law enforcement officer to impose the law on law-abiding citizens. They're choosing. Oh, we're going to let so-and-so go get off with this because, oh, see, light bulb's coming on. We're going to let so-and-so get off with this because, well, hello, they're a superstar. They're more impotent than everybody else. Same thing for any elected official. Any elected official who refuses to do their job, who refuses to perform the duties and functions of said office, they are fake and a fraud. And they are not a congressman, a senator, a city council member, a mayor. They're just up somebody, a fake and fraud up in there, thinking that they're in charge, thinking that they have a title. Just to even break it down even further, all of those teachers who are refusing to teach, guess what they're not? They're not teachers. It says right in the title what they are supposed to do. Teachers are supposed to teach, not turn all of our children into little social justice warriors. Law enforcement is supposed to enforce the law, not pick and choose when they want to do it, not overlook things. Same thing with congressmen, same thing with senators. Period. Those are threats, those are fakes and frauds. And in order, and if the teacher is not teaching, then they're a fake and fraud, and they're violating. They do not meet the standard of a teacher. So, poke them out and put in a new teacher and put in a real teacher. But you all, that's just that. Oh no. Oh. But just to show you how we all come up with excuses. I was listening to Jay Sekulow, and we're talking about the shooter down there in Cruz, down there in South Florida, and a caller called in, and she said, well, maybe I'm not trying to give an excuse. Yes, you are trying to give an excuse, lady. You're trying to come up with some kind of reason to overlook this, some kind of reason to justify that officer not doing his job. That's the problem. The time for overlooking is over and done with. She said, well, he may have been close to retirement, so then go sit on a desk somewhere. Do not take up the position, the job of sitting there and saying that you will lay your life down for these kids and then go hide behind a car. If you are incapable of fulfilling the oath, if you are refusing to fulfill the oath, then get out. That goes for all of you all fakes and frauds. Now, just to show you how you all get so easily distracted, how quickly you all are willing to overlook yourself, you all have taken the bait hook, line, and sinker. Because, again, the solution is apply the law. When you know that there's that I don't care who the person is. I don't care if they're a sheriff. I don't care if they're a judge. I don't care if they are an FBI agent. I don't care if they're a congressman. I don't care if they're a senator. If they are refusing to do their job, they are a fake and a fraud. And they are not a law enforcement officer. They are not a congressman. They are not a senator. And they needs to be removed. How? Legally and lawfully. You took the oath. You chose to sit there and not act. Bye, you're gone. You have taken an oath to serve, because they're all called public servants. All of them. All of them are public servants. But you know who's not a servant? The one who refuses to serve. Servants serve. Hello? Period. Slaves say, you have to force me, you have to make me, you have to bribe me. I'm not a slave. I'm a servant. I freely choose who I serve and what I do. I can't be browbeaten. I can't be mocked, berated, and belittled and forced to stop serving. At least my God. How about that? So what is the solution? The solution is you see all the fakes and frauds. Now, perfect example, my situation, I have over 100 fakes and frauds that I've been dealing with. What happens when I stood up to the fakes and frauds? They cower down. All of a sudden, oh God, well, I don't want to deal with this because, they're going to do bad things. What exactly have they done to me? They can't shut me up. They are the problem, and also your silence is the problem. Now, this situation down there in South Florida, same thing. The fake and fraud was the problem. Just think what would have happened if there was a real law enforcement officer down there, and instead of hiding behind a car, went in. Would have been a whole lot less carnage. But now, what do they do now? Because you don't want to deal with accountability. Because you do not want to deal with accountability. You want to deal with the next little problem that they throw up, and that's gun control. Oh, no. They're not going to come after our guns. And the easiest way that they do that is they just get all of another little fake, and all the fakes and frauds prop each other up. We'll just get one of our little drones who we've given a title to in Rhode Island, I think. The governor says, you go take the guns whenever you have a legal, lawful reason to take the guns. Well, that's already on the books, you dummy. Crazy people should not have guns. That's common sense. But you all, they're coming after our guns. They're coming after our guns. Oh, the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. You're taking the bait. That's a distraction. Stay focused. The problem is the fake and fraud. Jesus told us what to do with it. Why are you always talking about Jesus, Kay? Because he's the solution for everything. He's the one who I'm going to have to answer to. Accountability's here, folks. You can stick your head in the sand all you want. You can try to avoid accountability. No one ever avoids accountability, because at the end of the line, that is who you are going to give an account to. And he's going to ask you, you profess to be a Christian? Jesus said, not everyone who calls me Lord, Lord, is going to enter in the kingdom of heaven. That's Jesus. That's his authority. That's his jurisdiction. He's the one that decides that, not me. But what did Jesus say about fakes and frauds? Okay, again, Matthew chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 15. We're going to read this through real quick. What is a fake and fraud? A fake and a fraud is a threat. A fake and fraud is a wolf in sheep's clothing. So says Jesus. Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. They just want to kill you. They're going to tell you, they're going to whisper sweet little nothings in your ear, and then as soon as while you're sleeping, they come up and cut your throat. They don't care about you. They're fakes and frauds. The false prophets will lead you astray. That's what you got. You got a bunch of fakes and frauds. You got a bunch of people up in it. I've got a bunch of people right here in Jacksonville, Florida. We've got a bunch of fakes and frauds down there in Broward County. That's what happens when you let fakes and frauds. Death, destruction. Well, they didn't mean to. Oh, really? What was stopping that police officer? What was stopping that supposed police officer from going in? Y'all can come up with all the excuses you want. Oh, he's come up with a plan, blah, blah, blah. No plan. The plan is simple. You hear gunshots inside of a school, you got the gun, you go in and you remove the person that's shooting off the gun inside the school. Period. Period. That's the plan. You don't sit behind a car and hide. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? In other words, do thorn bushes produce grapes? No. Does a thistle bush produce figs? No. Broward County produced, no grapes, no figs, just death and destruction. Because, well, hello, you had a fake and a fraud down there. Period. But he's not the problem. The problem are the people that, the other fakes and frauds up the chain, light bulbs coming on, that refuse to do their job. That's the problem. Enforce our laws, uphold our laws, apply our laws when we know that said laws have been violated. Stop overlooking. Accountability is here, folks. This is not going to go away. Ye shall, verse 17, even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. My situation, they have stolen 20 years of my life. 20 years that I am going to get back. So says the law. I am going to be duly compensated by these people. In accordance with the law. So says the law. That's why they don't want to deal with me. Because I am outing them. Now, law-abiding citizen, what are you going to do about it? Why do you think the sheriff now down there in Broward County is having a heart attack? Why do you think the FBI is out there? Is it some kind of circumstance? It's just a coincidence that the kid, the little boy, the little social justice warrior, my dad is a retired FBI. He's a retired fraud. Is what he is. Gun control is the problem. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're a law-abiding citizen. Right. So, and they put that out there just to give you something. Here's something for you to complain about. Here's something. They're not after your guns. They're not after your guns. They're not after your guns. Folks, there's over 300 million guns in this country. And the vast majority of the people that own them know how to use them and are not afraid to use them. Do you really, truly think they're going to start coming door to door and knocking on your door and saying, excuse me, we're here to take your guns? Because the vast majority of the people that own guns will say, sure, I will give you my guns, bullets first. Okay? I'm just telling you how it is. No, folks, that's just something for you chest thumpers to say, they will never take my gun, to be bold about, while you let the fakes and frauds and counterfeits remain up in there. We'll give you a victory. It's a hollow, it's a shallow, it's not even a victory. It's not even a threat. The threat is the fake and fraud. That's the threat. Verse 18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Now, you tell me, all of those people in Congress, they're the ones in charge, right? You tell me one good thing that they have accomplished in the past year. On their own. If President Trump had not been elected, if Donald John Trump had not been elected President of the United States of America, That means we would have had Hillary in there. Do you really think we would have tax reform done? Do you think all of the good things that have happened has happened because Donald John Trump took action? He did. And he held them accountable. Time for you servants to start serving. Prior to President Trump, you name one good thing that they've done. One! You can't. They're do-nothing people. It's time for them to be removed. That means they are refusing to serve the people. Now, not all of them, not 100% of them are evil, vile people. But some of the ones that you are professing to be staunch, conservative, honorable men are scum. They're fakes, they're frauds, they're counterfeits. Oh, they put on a good show. They put on a real good show. They talk a real good talk. But they have no kind of walk. Period. So what's the solution? Verse 19. Every tree, and remember this is Jesus talking. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. If you ain't a good tree, then the only thing you're good for is firewood. If you are not a true servant, if you are not serving, then you need to be replaced. You need to go sit down on the side of the road. If you, and this is the part that has them all scared, if you are not fulfilling the oath, you are violating the oath. That's why they're coming up with all this gun control now, because it's the FBI that dropped the ball, and it's the FBI, and we're seeing now more and more and more. If they drop the ball over that one simple little thing, that one thing, we the people reported this lunatic to them. I've heard anywhere from 18 to 20 something times, 28 times, and you did nothing. You did nothing. You all even called him out one time. The kid was drinking gasoline. Drinking gasoline, and you all would not Baker Act him. Because, well, it just didn't meet the standard. What kind of standard needs to be met? The dude was drinking gasoline. Well, he can do that. No. That's a sick person that tries it. He wasn't drinking iced tea. He wasn't drinking Powerade. He was drinking gasoline. But no, that's okay. It's okay. We just told him not to do that again. You keep overlooking. I'm telling you what's going on in this country, folks. The solution is staring you right in the face. And if you refuse to deal with it, Almighty God will move over to someone else who's willing to deal with it. Because people, the innocent, are being tortured, murdered. Okay? All of these staunch, godly men up there, yet we're still killing all these babies through abortions, aren't we? Accountability's here. And what's happening is Almighty God is moving upon men's hearts. And you're a free will creature. You can choose to say, no, I don't, this is too big, there's nothing too big for Almighty God. Fine, you don't want to believe? Fine. I'm going to find somebody, and I will find somebody. Because He's moving upon men and women's hearts. You all have had y'all's chance. You still got a chance. All you got to do is hold yourself accountable first. It's that simple. You hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable, and then once you get into the biggest reason why a lot of you all do not want to, you just don't know your God. You just do not know your God. And when you come across a true believer, you don't know how in the world to handle them. Because you can't shake the true believer. You cannot bully a servant of the Most High God. Because they don't try to bully somebody else. They just stand there. They just stand there because they know there is absolutely nothing that can touch them. Nothing. They can't be shamed. They can't be blamed. They are the redeemed of the Lord. What is happening is Almighty God is building up His army. And with one voice, we will stand and we will demand that the laws be applied, because we are not willing to overlook. We are willing to first hold ourselves accountable. Therefore, we are demanding that those who have taken an oath hold themselves accountable as well as hold others accountable, because that is exactly what the oath is. You are agreeing to hold yourself accountable, and we are giving these people the authority to hold others accountable. Not to an opinion, but to the law, to the agreed upon law. And if you can't do that, then you got to go. Because you are a fake, you are a fraud, you are a counterfeit. That's what's going on in our country. The only question that remains is, when are you going to stop overlooking? When are you going to hold yourself accountable first? And then when are you going to demand that the law be applied? You apply the law and you get rid of all the fakes and frauds and counterfeits. You apply the law and all of a sudden, cuffed and stuffed. That's exactly what is going to happen. Not says me, so says the law, because so says the word of Almighty God, because so says Almighty God. Just saying.